Hi, Allison Coppel. I'm the founder and principal consultant of Pacha Associates. It's a consulting firm dedicated to the intersection of mining, sustainability, and communities. I've been in the industry, let's just say more than 20 years. I've been involved with SME. I remember my first SME conference was 2015, so a good 10 years ago, and I've just been an active participant ever since. Very distinctly, I remember the exact moment. My first career, I actually studied development economics. I was very interested about how emerging economies develop. And I was consulting to the World Bank in Mali, in West Africa. And my job, this was over 20 years ago, was to coordinate with the government of Mali and other donor agencies the next real development strategy of the company. There were 3 major gold mining companies in the country, and I kept saying, shouldn't we invite them to the conversation? And the response was really, they kind of do their thing. This is about development. And I'm just thinking, this is the industry that is investing, say, $1 billion in a country like Mali. I want to be part of that industry because when I talked to them and I met someone there, they didn't understand why they had to be involved in the conversation about the development of this country either. And I was very perplexed about that. And I said, there has to be the same strategy to develop a country, to develop a business, and a business that's so long lasting like mining. Don't you want the environment around it to thrive with you? But I didn't know how to articulate that then. Went to business school, and from business school started working for mining companies. Exactly in roles at the intersection of the company and the communities and the country's development and the land and all the pieces above ground that enable mining to happen. And that's what my firm is now dedicated after, let's say about 18 years working with mining companies. SME, I was coming to this event. I now live outside of Washington, D.C., no longer in Denver. And I felt like I was just coming home. And I just, it's not this huge event anymore where I see a sea of people. I see friends. I see people and colleagues that I've worked with and collaborated with. And in the last number of years, I've been very active in the Women of SME breakfast. And this has really become even deeper home for me. I'm actually facilitating the breakfast for the second time this year. And it's just this amazing community of professionals dedicated to making the best mining industry possible, to making the most diverse and inclusive industry, because this is the industry I've gotten to travel to really cool places. I've gotten to live 9 years in South America. I've traveled to every continent to work in mining. I've met incredibly dedicated, educated, interesting people, and that's my job. And so I talk a lot to students and, why mining industry? When I was studying undergrad, I had no idea about mining until the moment that I described when I was my early job working in Mali. And now I talk to students, I'm like, do you want a cutting edge career that takes you to far off places, that meets people from all over the world? That to me sounds really attractive. And all of that is what I feel when I get to go every year to the SME conference and I get to be a part of the SME. What I love about students, now I just had this experience with my own consulting firm where I hired 2 interns. And I received a lot of applications. And from this area of sustainability and communities, it's so wide-reaching across disciplines. And so I got applications from mining engineers, geologists, communications, legal, and pretty much everything in between. And I made them write an essay. How should the mining industry obtain and maintain social acceptance? And each of these essays were so well crafted in understanding that this is such a holistic industry, that even if you studied this one thing, you can apply it to so many things because this is such a critical part of communities, of our society, and it all layers in together. And young people today, they understand that, I think, a lot more than at least I did growing up and studying. And so when I talk to students, I say, whatever it is that you studied, do you want to be part of an industry that leverages all of that and more to contribute to such a vital piece of anything we're touching? It's not grown, it's mined. And if you want to be part of that, whatever you studied is a vital part of making that happen. I've had a number of really great mentors over my career. I'm going to give a shout out to my first mentor in the mining industry, Paul Warner, if you're watching this, retired from BHP. And besides believing in me and getting me into the mining industry, he realized that I was in the corporate office of BHP at the time in Santiago, Chile for the base metals office. And he said, you got to get to an operation. You have to be able to get to an operational role to have success in this industry. And he was able to transfer me to their joint venture in Peru, Antamina. And that was one of the most key, helpful pieces of not just advice, but he made it happen, that helped me with my industry. Because especially in the work that I do, mainly with the communities who live around the mine, you can have a career where you actually never go to the mine. And when I build teams, and I've built so many teams in the past and advise other companies now, I say those teams have to understand where the work starts and what the business really is and how all of these pieces enable this business. So you got to get to the operation, you got to get to the project site and work from there. And that's what Paul Warner was so helpful in getting me to do. Being part of SME has connected me to a network of people that, otherwise I wouldn't have the opportunity to really build a meaningful relationship with. Whether it's being part of the Women of SME Breakfast Committee and being able to put on meaningful events for the industry. I'm now part of the Government and Public Affairs Committee, and it keeps growing my depth with SME because I get to meet more people, and especially through that mechanism, be able to understand and influence even more critical minerals policy. SME has given me this platform to continue to learn, continue to build my network, and continue to be connected to the industry. Future of mining, I imagine mining, and let me pause here because mining is so critical to everything that we want to achieve right now in the world around AI, around the energy transition, especially here in the US, critical minerals policy is at the forefront. And imagine mining that fulfills this, that has minimal impact to land, that the technology is there to leach up the materials or take up the materials in a way that does not disturb the land, and that the communities and people who are living on top of that land, around that land, are part of this decision to develop it from the very first second that this is thought of. Imagine that, and that we are all doing this together because we all believe in this project and we all are benefiting and we all are contributing to the development of this land that the people living there know the most about. I don't think this future is too far off. There's a lot of pockets of it already. So I'm excited about the future of mining growing and strengthening in that way because I see that truly is the best way to fulfill this critical mineral need. Join SME.